Hello, everybody. Welcome back to to Game Over Ottawa. Um, that was like it. That was as Sens fans, we've dealt with different levels of painful games over the last. I was gonna say month, 6 years. That one was the worst. The worst is when you have some hope and it's just absolutely
Oh,
pulled away from you at the last second. Before I get too into being sad on behalf of my favorite hockey team, I am joined by the can we say SDPN's favorite Australian?
I think by default, but I'll take it.
Everyone who's watching, please welcome back Sam to the show. Um, Not a Caps game for him this time. But
Nope.
there's we got a while till the next Sens Caps game, so we gotta wait it out. So,
That's
going with
okay. The
Dallas.
Stars are them. They're my next favorite team. That's why I
Do you
own the
want to
Stars jersey.
show
Yeah,
everyone your makeshift
it's
Dallas Stars jersey?
official merchandise, not makeshift. They sell this in the NHL shop.
Oh yeah, the one the one in Melbourne.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the only one. Actually, fun story. There is we have an actual ice hockey merchandise shop here in Melbourne, near where the Melbourne Mustangs and the Melbourne Ice played. And I
Okay.
started being a Melbourne Ice supporter, but I switched over to be a Mustang supporter primarily because the Ice bought a merchandise store and didn't sell their own jersey there.
Okay.
Like,
That's a
I have
choice.
no idea. Yeah, they like had little pucks. They all the stuff that they could have sold at the arena that they played very comfortably. They were like, no, we need a store for these pucks. And I was genuinely so upset by that. I was like, well, now I'm supporting the other Melbourne team. And then they won the good old cup. So I'm very happy with that decision.
There you go. You made the right choice. I did not
Mm.
make the right
It's
choice
all
in being
about
a
the
Sens
money.
fan. Not that I had
No, you did
there.
not.
There's not much competition in the way of NHL teams based in Ottawa,
Mm.
so I was kind of assigned it. Anyway, Sens lose to the Stars 5-4 despite having a lead um
Yeah.
majority of that game.
Well, I
Uh
came into this game like what, like 5 minutes late or something, and I was like, oh damn. Well, Charlie's been too harsh on his Sens. These guys are great. They're up 2 goals, 2 shots. That's 100% right there. And then very quickly I was like, oh, this is what he was talking about.
yeah, so for those who hadn't didn't watch the game, with the shots being 2-0, the Sens were up 2-0 and they lost this game. I listen, this is gonna sound made up. I like genuinely this is going to sound made up, but I actually thought about tweeting they're losing this game when they were up 2-0 with the shots being 2-0.
You would have been right though. Would you like to see my impression of the Ottawa Senators defense?
I please, yeah, yeah, please.
All right.
Is it okay? Well, just keep in mind that your camera's a little cut off, so we'll see how much of this is visible. I'm getting the joke now. I'm getting the joke. I'm getting the joke.
A collapse and a
Oh,
hurt elbow. I didn't do that right.
oh, that's
Ow.
not good. Oh, never mind. I thought the joke was you weren't there. You were completely cut off.
Oh, so okay, hang on. It's
You
very
just
hard. Got
hurt your
limited
elbow for
space
nothing.
here.
I'm sorry, dude. That's no there. Beautiful. That's a beautiful flop.
And I didn't hurt myself that time.
I'm proud of you, buddy. I'm happy for you. Um. So yeah. Like I don't know if that says more about me than it does about the team that this team is up 2-0, and in my brain I'm like, this is I don't believe they're gonna win. Um that
No,
might
I
just be
think
built in me.
you've heard of the Pavlov dog experiment, right? Where scientists would ring a bell and the dog would expect food, so
Yeah.
it would start drooling. As a Sens fan, you hear the opening whistle go off and you expect a loss. in very much the same way, through repetition, through absolutely nothing changing. Uh, I am on your fire DJ Smith train very hard, and I've like seen 4 Ottawa Senators games this season, and one of them just was destroying my team.
Yeah, that was
Uh,
early on. Yep.
yeah. So I'll give you that, but like, man, that was more reflective of the Caps, I think, because my star has fallen off. Oh no.
Oh,
Uh, but yeah,
fake fan alert.
let's talk about the structure. Actually, should we talk about the structure now or later?
I want to hold off on DJ because I have a thing about later, like just the coaching in general. I want to go over a few key points of this game, because here's the thing: when the Sens keep losing, when I'm doing these shows, when the Sens lose as often as they do, for both myself and my co-host Mod, um, eventually when the Sens keep losing, you don't really want to break down the games all that much because it just sucks. It just takes it out of you. And so it just kind of turns into this show where we rant about the team in general. I've just avoided talking about the game enough times in a row now where I'm like, we should talk about the game, because I usually just come on here and just moan and just like be like, oh, this team sucks so bad, and I don't like go over the game, and we're kind of flip-flopping. I'm kind of tired of just complaining about the team. So let's look at what happened in this game specifically. So obviously we already brought up shots were 2-0. The score was 2-0. And Travis Hamnick scored like so. So the Sens have played terribly the last couple of games, and they're facing a fantastic team in Dallas. So naturally they score on their first shot, and of course it's Travis Hamnick. That's just like, it was written that way.
Well, they have to give you hope before they snatch it away.
That's true. That is true.
That's how good stories are made,
And then Drake Batherson makes it 2-0. Who, it was a really nice play. Gathered up the rebound on his wasn't even really, it's not really a rebound when it's a blocked shot. So his initial shot was blocked. He scoops up the puck from that initial shot attempt, puts it past Jake Ottinger, who would only go on to face one more shot because he left the game injured.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened there. I'm kind of thinking like he maybe like sprained his ankle or something, because he went off with a bit of a limp, didn't he?
Yeah, he looked a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. It looked like the puck like caught under his skate, and it maybe kind of, I don't know,
like a
twisted his leg. Yeah. So anyway, Jake Ottinger leaves fairly early in the game. In comes Scott Wedgwood. Past that, like at that point, I mean, we should have had all the confidence. But
well, let's be honest, not a single goaltender was really ready tonight. I mean, like 4-5, that's not particularly a scorecard you want to see.
Yeah,
especially as a goaltender.
There is a stat I want to reference as we get further along in the first period, which is, I can't remember the last time this happened, but we'll just like quickly go through something here. This is a goal you saw and we both were really complaining about, was the Stars' first goal, which was on the power play. And somehow both Jamie Benn and Joe Pavelski were just completely wide open in the Sens crease. Yeah. Just wide open. No one was on them.
The Senators kind of looked like they'd, I can't remember which player they picked out, but in the old 80s movies where the bullies would circle around the protagonist, that's kind of what the Sens were doing. They picked one guy and they're like, we're going to bully him and leave everyone else open, and that's our game plan. They like literally, there was like a triangle. It was like they were trying to summon the Illuminati through him.
And
it's just not effective.
Pavelski shovels it in. And then Sens get the two-goal lead back. Giroux with a really great move on a 4-on-4. And he can't put in his own rebound off that play, like rushing in on the side of the zone. But Josh Norris just comes flying in and puts it home. 3-1 Sens. And then 10 seconds later, Forsberg allows what is probably the softest goal of the season for the Sens.
for
I
the
know
league
you can't
potentially.
like verify that. You haven't watched every Sens game this season, as like I wouldn't
I
expect Sens fans to watch every game this season, let alone a Caps fan. But
I
yeah, Essa
genuinely
Lindell
cannot
scores.
imagine anything softer than that. I could have stopped that, and I can't skate.
you've heard me talk about how shitty this team has looked so consistently this season, and even then,
Yeah,
like you just said, that's got to be the worst one.
like not even AHL shit. Pardon my French, s'il vous plaît. But there was maybe so that was the softest goal I've ever seen, and then his next shot in was probably the second softest thing I'd ever seen. The backhand right through his 5-hole, when he was turning
Yeah,
into cheat, off the shot. Uh, who scored? Do you know who scored that goal?
that was the short goal. That was Thomas Harley.
Yeah. I look, if I was Thomas Harley and I scored that, I would go up to the scorers, the people writing down the scorecards, and I just say like, I don't really want that. I'm fine if you like don't count it. That's yeah, I didn't mean for that to happen. It doesn't reflect well on either of us, really. That was a terrible shot and it went in. So that's going to be on a highlight reel if you give us the goal right now. And I want to bury this shit.
A stat I really want us to focus on for a second. Um, through the first 8 shots of the game, there were 5 goals, and also Matthew Joseph hit the post. A few inches away from having 6 goals on the first 9 shots of the game. The goalies just did
Yeah.
the first. I mean, throughout the rest of the game, it was pretty shaky on both ends for sure. But the first period specifically, the goalies did not show up like at all.
Honestly,
It
the
was the most
posts were the
ridiculous.
best. The posts were the best goaltenders of the night, honestly. That thing
Yeah.
rang off so many shots. I think there was
Um.
at least like 4 or 6 where I went, oh, good save post.
And then
Because like it just clean beat the goalies.
yeah. To round out the first period. Uh, the first period had a total of 10:31 time 5-on-5. Only half the first period was played
Oh
five on
no.
five. And we'll get into this later on as we go through what happened in the game, but the refs were calling everything in the first, and then after that they just stopped. They
Yeah.
just kind of stopped. We'll get into like a couple of specific examples of that going into the second. But like as I'm reliving this now, going point by point, I'm hating this, so I might speed it up.
That's fair.
Um,
Like genuinely, the referees tonight. You hear me complain about referees every single game we play, and I try to kind of keep it off stream for the most part. But I hated what I saw tonight. Like the bad calling is one thing. No calling is even worse, especially after calling everything in the first period there.
right.
Like what rule book are you supposed to play to as a player? Like it genuinely, like it's not like honor or spirit of the game. Like it's like, oh, it makes it harder for my team to win. It's like, no, when the referees do that, they make the game more dangerous. They encourage players rolling the dice on risky plays. And when you're running around, not running, skating around at these intense speeds with knives strapped to your boots, with helmets that can crack a skull if you headbutt someone the wrong way, like you just cannot encourage people to take risks. It is not the environment for that. Like you are putting genuinely, it sounds like I'm being hyperbolic, but they are putting lives in danger. Like people could, it hasn't really happened yet, but like people could freaking die from crap like this, break your neck, collarbone injuries. There was a couple of boardings that just went completely ignored. So many interferences just got ignored. Like you can't, like hockey sticks are bloody hard. You can't cross check people with them according to the rule book. According to this game, like, no, you're allowed. We'll call one cross check. Who was that? Was it Norris or Zub that had that particular nasty one? They called that, And
Was
like,
that
yeah,
Chikrin?
credit to
Let me look at
them.
the um
You're right. It was Chikrin. Chikrin really gave someone the the stick right in their meat, and then ignored every other cross check of the night. And they every year they say they're gonna crack down on cross checks. Well, I will bloody believe it when I see it.
yeah,
I
full list of
sorry, I just need
penalties
to
here.
check my heart rate.
Full list of penalties. In the first period, there was 2 hooking, 1 holding, 1 cross checking, 1 slashing. In the second period, there was 1 tripping. That's it for the rest of the game.
Yeah, but
So
that's not the amount of penalties that happened.
no, five penalties called in the first, 1 in the second, and then actually that first penalty in the second was 9 minutes 42 seconds in. So they just didn't call anything in the second half of this game. Which is
They might
wild
as well
because I
not have
mean
been there.
no, there were clear penalties. Like a very obvious interference penalty on both sides at different points during that second period.
There was one
Um,
right after each other at one point.
yeah, and
Like
I
there
know,
was
and at that, yeah, and Chikrin, I think it was Chikrin who sent, I think it was it Craig Smith's stick just flying through the air, just no call. They're like, whatever, you can do that. And like, I mean, there's a handful of others too that I didn't have time to write that down. Just a really odd game as far, and I'm not even to say like the officiating had anything to do with the Sens losing this game, because it didn't. The team just played like shit after the first 30 seconds.
yeah.
Um, but just a weird game officiating wise. I just want to like point that out, basically.
If you had a conspiracy theory that the referees just had to hit a quota to get paid, this would be the game you would use to prove it. Like they met their quota in the first, and then they zoned out for the rest of the night.
Yeah, I think this is a weird because I always, especially like when you are on the show, the first time you were on the show, we spent a lot of time talking about how the NHL specifically is so bad at like growing the game. Whenever I'm on a show with you, I always have, I think about this occasionally other times too, but especially with you on the show, because we talk about that so much, I kind of go into these games watching it like, if I was watching hockey for the first time, would this make me want to watch more? And maybe if this was the first game I ever watched, it would be really exciting. But if this was like the 10th game I watched, and like by that point I'd kind of know what a regular game looked like, I think this game,
Yeah,
officiating wise, would just annoy me more than, because it's exciting. If this was the first game, like the back and forth goal is exciting, but like it's an annoying. This was an annoying game, I think.
I think that's a really good way to put it. Like, as someone who had never watched it before and all they knew about hockey was its rough reputation, like they would be like, oh yeah, this is what all the memes were talking about. But like for anyone who's watched a lot of hockey, they're just like, no, no. It's like watching the Mighty Ducks. You're like, no, you're not actually allowed to do that. Like, that's not how hockey works. And
Yeah,
that's what it was like watching this game. Like yeah, if I knew nothing about it, ooh, action, action, action. Um, but it just kind of felt like a little bit embarrassing. Not from the Stars. The Stars played really well.
yeah,
And a
yeah,
lot of the game they didn't look like they were going to win. Um, and not because of Forsberg, to be honest. Um, it was strange. Like they played
yeah.
well, but they seemed unlucky. If that makes any
Yeah.
sense.
Okay, let me run through the second period here as well. It was announced after the first that Matthew Joseph wasn't returning to the game because of a lower body injury that he sustained during the first period. Hopefully not anything serious, because that's the last thing the Sens need right now is to lose Joseph. Um,
I don't want my dad to go to hospital.
yeah, anyone who hasn't seen Sam on the show before, the joke is Matthew Joseph has the same name as just not the French spelling. I don't think your dad has the French spelling of Mathieu, but
No,
if he did, that'd be
definitely
cool.
not.
Um, all right, so yeah, then Sens are up 4-2. Matheson scores a second of the game, and at that point, when it was 4-2, I was like, okay, maybe this team can hold it
Yeah.
together.
I
Just a really nice
remember telling
play.
you at 4-2, I asked you like, "Hey, what do you think the score is right now?" Because I had forgotten and I saw it and I went, "Huh? The Sens are winning right now? That that's not what I'm watching."
Yeah. And for a lot of the game, it just felt like the game was tied, regardless of what the
Yeah,
Sens lead was early on. But no, that was like just genuinely like a good play. Like the Sens actually were able to maintain control of the puck around the Stars net. Kachuk, Stützle, and Batherson get together for like a pretty nice goal. And then it's the Thomas Harley shorthanded goal we talked about a second ago. Just comes down the ice and like listen, like Forsberg needs to stop that. Forsberg let in that floater in the first period. He needs to stop this. Just like what looks like it should be a nothing shorthanded rush down the ice, one guy. And like, listen, I'm not giving Forsberg any like I'm not taking any of the blame off Forsberg when I say this, but Chikrin and Stützle really didn't do anything on that. Like, I'll put in huge quotation marks back check. They were floating. Forsberg should stop that puck every time, but also like take a swipe at the puck, guys. You know, just please.
like a D man should not be scoring backhand like that.
Yeah, exactly. And then a third
Would you
period.
have pulled him?
Was that?
Would you have pulled him after that? Because three is genuine is a bit early to pull on a goaltender, but with the
I thought
volume of
about it,
shots
but
he faced
you know
and
what?
that
I
goal,
think this is probably a bad look because of how the third period goes. I probably would have left him in.
okay,
To be honest with you. And maybe that's just me being like, well, he let in two crazy softies. That's it. That's all the bad goals he's letting in. And I mean, like, I think that was the only two bad goals he did let in. But yeah, because then in the third period, Miro Heiskanen ties it up. The puck just kind of takes a funky bounce and he's wide open. And like Forsberg probably could have made that save, but like it was just a really just like a good bounce for the Stars. And then Matt Duchene, behind the back pass, tries to shovel the puck in front of the net, and it just goes off Josh Norris's sticking in. All right, you know,
Ducky looked good tonight. Actually,
yeah.
he looked pretty light on his feet.
Do you want to, yeah, Sam's nickname for Matt Duchene is Ducky.
It's good, right?
It's solid, yeah.
Yeah, I've got no reason for it, but douche is not a great nickname.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah, I wonder if
Hey guys, great game. Sup, douche?
yeah, that's not. I don't know. Probably not. I wonder if he had to deal with that in like minor hockey.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. And then I just like towards the end of the game, just to wrap up on like talking about the game itself. Sens were down by a goal with like about 6 minutes left, and seeing Travis Hamonic like on the point, aggressively calling for a pass, like so, like fucking like his stick on the ice just like tap, like he fucking wanted the puck so badly, and I didn't know whether
But
to
you're
laugh
not the
or
guy,
cry.
my dude.
I didn't know if I should laugh or cry. It was so upsetting to see that. Like he does not realize that like he has to lead the league in like blocked shots that result in a scoring chance the other way. Like it's so consistent with him. Um but yeah, I'm sick of talking about the game. Let's talk about DJ Smith. Um
Oh boy.
and I'm going to I'm going to spin this in a way that I think you'll enjoy. So
Are we getting
it's
serious?
no yeah, I think
Should I put
it's
on a formal
no
hat?
you have a what do you
Oh
mean?
yeah, of course I got a formal hat.
No. Yeah.
Are we gonna fire DJ Smith?
No. So anyone who's watched the show before knows that I like the little tip. That's good. Everyone who's watched the show knows I want DJ Smith gone. Most Sens fans do.
Hmm.
at this point, I'm just convinced. Like, people are talking about. I've seen people say online today, like, okay, well, this has to be the game that gets Smith fired. I've just kind of accepted that he's going to be the coach through the rest of the season
Mm,
for some reason. So I want to live through you for a second, because
okay.
last season, I don't know how many times you told me that you were so sick of the Caps coaching staff. So
Yeah.
I just want you to tell me about the day that you found out that Peter Laviolette and the Capitals parted way this past offseason. And I just want you to
Okay.
put into words how that day was for you, because I you know.
I remember waking up early that day. The time zones are different. So, the news happened in the afternoon in the States. I found out at early morning. And it was on a weekend, and I shook my partner awake and was like, Lev's gone, Lev's gone, Lev's gone. And she was like not fully aware of what was happening because it was that early stage of awake, but just from my enthusiasm, it was infectious. We got up, we danced around a little bit, we made pancakes. I was so ecstatic that he was out of the building. And like, obviously now he's not doing well at all with a different team. Bottom of the league, New York Rangers. So it just goes to show what a terrible coach he is. But it was like finding out he was gone was like, okay, we have a future now. Like this team was heading into a hard rebuild, and it didn't need to be. That feels like the Sens feel like a rebuilding team, but they do not need to be, and it is not reflective of the talent they have on the crew. And you need a coach who is able to be adaptive. He's
Mhm.
able to, get through to his players. And Laviolette was just not able to do that. And it doesn't look like DJ Smith is able to do that either. Like, from everything that I've heard about him, like, sure, the team love him. He sounds like a bit of a dad to the team, the nice dad, but sometimes you need more than the nice dad. You got to be strict too. You need to be able to tell your guys, like, look, I know you love me, but what the fuck are you doing out there? You can't do that. You're a
Yeah.
very naughty boy. You're grounded. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying like
Yeah.
bench to chuck or something crazy like that. Like, but like, I don't know, like maybe don't play Hamonic.
Listen, when
There's a
I know you specifically said how bad you thought Jacob Bernard Docker was on a specific play. That play where he nearly like knocks the puck in. Um
Yeah,
but
he slided into the goalie and like prevented him from moving. It's the kind of move you do when it's an empty net. Like, there was zero reason for him to do that. He just was like puck, 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 and like a golden retriever went after it. And I can only imagine what the goaltender was thinking. Like, get out of my way, dude. Like, it was insane.
despite
Sorry, I
that,
cut you off.
no, despite that, he has been looking pretty all right. That's hilarious. Not to like break the fourth wall, but I have the stream running over here, and I just got I just got an ad for Sen's ticket package. Anyway, um
Maybe next season.
yeah, maybe I don't want to spend any money on these games anymore. But no, he has looked solid over the last few games in general. Like, there's been an improvement, and when Thomas Chabot is back off IR, um, Hamnick should be the one sitting, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, I just wanted to get some of that like genuine joy from a team making a change. I just wanted to get that from you, because I remember, uh, God,
Yeah, I was so happy.
you, I don't know how it feels now looking at the Rangers, but um That was
I
pretty
think I
slow for
mentioned
you.
it before, but I don't think the Rangers are a particularly young team. You know, Lav likes his old boys, uh, and he has a very specific style of play, which is not particularly great for a more offensively minded team like the Caps, which we have the lowest scoring percentage, like next to the Sharks right now, which is insane.
Yeah.
Uh, because Carbs was supposed to come in and help the offense, but somehow he helped the defense. Because we're not really losing that many games. It's insane. We were talking before about the Caps' top 3 point scorers right now, and I know this is a Sens show, but I think people will be very interested to hear that the top 3 point scorers on the Capitals is number one, Tom Wilson, number two, Dylan Strome, number three, Alex Ovechkin. And Ovechkin has 11 assists and 5 goals. People keep saying, like, oh, Ovi's finally, the Russian machine has broken. Like, he's gotten too old to play hockey. Like, no, he's still contributing, just in an entirely different way than he ever has before. He's turned into a playmaker this season. And he's very effective on that line, because Wilson, Strome, Ovi, that's our top line. And you want your top line to be your highest point scorers, even if the highest point scorer is at 17 points. It's so weird to think where we are in the ladder when our top point scorer has 17 points. Like,
Yeah.
it's Sens are playing Mighty Ducks hockey right now, but the Capitals are like living Mighty Ducks hockey. We're finding very weird and unconventional ways to win.
Yeah.
And I think all of that can be contributed to Spencer Carberry. And I think the Spencer Carberry would have had the Sens be a playoff team. If you guys had gotten Carbs, that like that would have made a hell of a difference. I think he's a Jack Adams contender.
Do you think it has more to do with um like a solid defensive system, or the fact that, of all people, like Lindgren's standing on his head? Because the Sens are
Well,
in desperate need of a defensive system, but like also like a hot goalie wouldn't hurt either.
yeah. Well, I don't know if I'd put it all on Lindy's shoulders. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Chucky, but we only just kind of recently found out that he's the starter. Like, he's been the backup, and it kind of became like, wow, Lindy had a great game there. Oh wow, Lindy had another game. Oh shit, Lindy got a shutout. He just got a second shutout a little while ago, and like maybe 3 or 4 games ago, it was like, oh, is he the starter? Um, so I wouldn't put the teams. I'm not going to call limited success, but success feels like the wrong word. But the team's ability to play to where they're at hasn't really had much to do with goaltending. Um, and I don't know if I'd say our defensive core is what's done it either. I think our our forwards are just playing a lot harder, especially on the back end. Um, and they've just been very, very unlucky with the puck. Uh, I mean, you can you see Ovi take a magnificent slapper every night, and like half the time it beats the goaltender, but just squiggles out of the way of the net, and it's like, oh, that
Right.
could have bounced the other way. Um, it's not a problem of structure. Which, do you want to talk about the Sens structure right now? How they play defensively, as what is clearly like a coaching problem and not an individual player level.
We could. I do just want to mention though that the Caps, I mean, they're 14-8-4. Like, it's a really good point percentage, but I am really interested to see how far good goaltending can take them, because they're kind of like a prime candidate for regression at this point. But again, that's because the guys who are supposed to be scoring aren't. So if that turns around, then
Mm.
who cares? Like, who cares? Um,
Yeah.
but they are currently tied with Chicago for 31st in the league for goals scored. So the fact that
Yeah.
they have such a good record despite that,
It's insane, right? That's
but
Mighty Ducks shit.
and I mean the goal differential is -9, um, but that's also considerably better than pretty much everyone else who's scoring around that number of goals. Um, so yeah, we'll see, we'll see. Just another example of how coaching change can help.
Well,
Take a hint,
I should mention
please.
last time I was on the show, with Matt on board, um, I had a go at Anthony Mantha pretty hard.
Oh yeah, do
Uh,
you want to do a quick public? Yeah, so for those who didn't watch, Sam and our friend Matt, three of us were on for the Sens Caps game earlier this season, and Sam had a direct message for Anthony Mantha. So if you just want to,
yeah,
follow
I would
that
like
up
to make
here.
a formal public apology to Anthony Mantha. Uh, I have no idea what happened. I'm assuming whatever alien has kidnapped you and replaced you with a very good hockey player uh has I just don't know what happened. Like it's the Spencer Carberry effect. I'm still not ready to give the credit to Anthony Mantha because I went so hard on him. Carbs has turned. This is why I love Carbs, because he's turned around a player like Anthony Mantha
Buddy, I
who
got a list of reasons why I
has
love carbs, but I think we're talking about something different.
carbohydrates.
Mm,
I can't have those anymore, you bastard.
I had pizza tonight.
Oh, oh, I can't have pizza anymore, dude.
It's a shame.
Like that's so much sugar in pizza, you'd be surprised. Uh Contextually, I am now a type 1 diabetic. So that's a new thing in my life. So Charlie waving around his pizza like that makes me want to punch him.
Yeah, good luck reaching across the ocean.
Oh man.
Anyway,
But
your
one
public
more thing on
apology.
carbs. Oh no, I'm done with that.
Oh, that was it.
I
That was,
barely apologize.
you barely fucking put yourself at fault on that one.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna reveal my bad hairline, put my hat to my heart, and say I apologize for saying that Anthony Mantha was playing so poorly that he should get off the team and possibly pay a fine for his stolen wages. Um, while that was true, it has turned around. He is playing very well with Connor McMichael and Alexi Protas. Uh, and I now have a lot of hope in the future of the Capitals. I don't think we're going to be rebuilding for a long time. Our young guys have shown up in a big way. And it's really exciting to watch that this team go from, last season where it's like, sell everyone, to like, oh, hey, like, how are these like low 15 picks, like not even 15, like I think Connor McMichael was like pick 20 or something like that, you know. Then we've got Ivan Miroshnichenko, who is an absolute phenom, also around 20. Then Hendrix Lapierre 20. Like our every time I see the Caps prospect rankings, I'm like, well, they haven't looked into this team at all. They just checked the nut, like, where were they drafted? Okay. But yeah, like our future looks really good right now. And I kind of feel a bit bad for the Sens because their future is already on the ice. And this is kind of what we got. And
I had
like it's not that they're not talented.
yeah, I had Tony Ferrari on from the hockey. How great is his name, by the way? I
Oh
had
yeah.
Tony Ferrari
Real
on from the
fast.
Hockey News, who like his thing is prospects. His thing is prospects, and we were talking about how the Sens just like the cupboards are empty, man, like completely empty. And that's concerning when the team on the ice is doing nothing. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think just before we start to wrap things up here, I'll just do a quick call out to anyone who's watching. Hey, appreciate you tuning in to the live show. If you have anything you want to say about the game, any questions, any whatever, throw them in the chat right now, and we'll circle back and we'll go through those. And while you're typing something out in the chat to throw our way, because we appreciate the back and forth, feel free to hit like on the stream if you're enjoying the stream, and if you're not enjoying the stream, hit like anyway. Like, I don't care. I'll ask for it anyway.
I have the stream open now finally, so I can look at all the lovely people commenting, like Deltago, who probably has a very handsome chin.
Nice.
Yeah, Curtis Joseph can eat a hot dog in less than 2 seconds. He's impressive.
I always like to say that's the Curtis Joseph, former NHL goaltender. It's got to be. Must be.
Yeah.
From Joe Mama in the chat, as a Stars fan, even when down multiple goals, I felt there was no way Dallas was losing. And yeah, like we were talking about when it was 4-2 for the Sens, I said it kind of feels, what did I say? I think I said something like it feels like the Sens have like a half goal lead. Like,
yeah, it was like a 5-6 game, which it very much almost was.
Yeah, like not even 5-6, like 6 to like 5.5. Like that's what it felt like. It felt like they were more goal. I don't know. It was just a weird game that
was at 2-4 as well. Yeah. That was when the Sens were winning.
That's when the Sens were up by 2. I was like, it feels like the Sens should be up by like half a goal. They've played not great.
And it's like it genuinely, it's not because of a lack of talent on the ice. Like you see, like Brady Tkachuk had some real impressive moments. His hand-eye is incredible, but it's the system of play. I really want to talk about how upsetting it is to watch, the puck go into the Senators zone, and then everybody circles around one dude. They all go after the puck at once. There is no one going, that's your man, that's your man, that's your man. Stick to, like, play the man. And it just isn't happening. And that's not yeah, you could call that a lack of communication on the ice, but like that plan has to happen before they even step on it, and it's just not happening. They're not using the boards the way they should be. You mentioned before, like every kid in Canada learns that the boards are their best friend. Not the Sens. They like the boards behind the net. They love to throw the puck at it and then run after it, no matter how many Dallas Stars there are between them and the puck. Like they keep making these little gambles on races that they can't win, and then when they're in those board battles, you never like I want to see the D not stand in the middle of the ice, get near your boards, so if someone needs to wrap that puck around, you can keep possession. That's the Sens are just not doing that, and that's very clearly a coaching choice. That's someone saying no, you guys need to stand there. You need to make sure it doesn't break out the middle. When if you're standing by the boards, it's maybe 1 extra second to skate diagonally into it, or get halfway there. Just don't be where you are positioning yourself right now on that blue line, like two little snake fangs that are completely useless unless the team breaks down. And even then, then the Ottawa Sens back end isn't fast enough to play that way. You need to get yourself in spots where the team can instinctively get the puck to you and not even have to think about it. And that happens at practice. That is DJ's responsibility, to get these guys to know where their friends are without even thinking about it. And that's just not what's happening. I don't want to call the Senators a bunch of morons, but when they play a game like that, they look like they have no hockey IQ. They look like they're just golden retrievers running after a tennis ball.
It's just, it just feels like every time I look at any of the stats, it's the same thing every time. It's the same, like, what is this team doing? That's how it feels every night. Um, and listen, anyone who's watching, if you're watching, I imagine you watched the game. And first of all, I'm sorry you had to spend your Friday night watching that game. But more so, I'm sorry to Sam, who is spending his Saturday afternoon doing this. And Saturday afternoon is supposed to be arguably like the most enjoyable part of your week, I think. I'm a big Saturday
Yeah.
afternoon guy.
Every day is a Saturday with the right mindset, Charlie. Every day's a Saturday when I'm hanging out with you, buddy.
I feel, I mean, that's really sweet, but I feel like that's what it is usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it is a Saturday, so like I
It is
probably
a
should have
Saturday.
saved this for like a Thursday or something so I could get
Yeah,
more of those Saturday vibes.
yeah. But at least for you, you didn't really have like you weren't really pulling for anyone in this game. So it was just a game that you got to watch and enjoy.
Yeah. Like it was nice to see like players like Jason Robinson, who he's like flown under my radar because I don't really watch Dallas games, but that kid's fast. Like
Yeah.
he's good at it. Did you know about this? Jason Robinson is good at hockey.
I heard rumors. I heard
Yeah, I think I just discovered
I
this.
heard I heard rumors since throughout the maybe like the last 2 weeks, people have really started to pick up on that.
Yeah, like but
So yeah,
didn't he get like 50 goals last season or something crazy?
something like
Am I thinking of someone else?
I think he may have been high 40s. I think he's
God
back to
damn.
back. He's definitely back to back 40 goals though, I'm sure. Um
The the Stars are one of those teams that fly under my radar. Like
they got
I
dude, they got Miro Heiskanen and Jason Robertson in the same draft, by the way.
God damn.
He
Those are some
Robertson
good
was a
picks.
second round pick. Yeah, the last 2 years, 46 goals last year, 41 the year before. Like he had 109 points last season, by the way. So,
Ooh.
um,
Yeah,
I
good
was
at
gonna,
hockey. I'm glad I discovered him.
yeah, put that on your resume. Scouted Jason Robertson in 2023. Um, let's see here.
Oh
I'm just
man.
running through a bit more people in the chat here. Um, from
Ooh, should we do questions?
Yeah, here's something from Quantum. He says, is it wrong that I'm actively cheering against this team? I mean, if you want them to tank, fine, make them tank. Like,
Mm.
I don't know. I think a lot of me being like, no, that's fine, is an overreaction to this game. But
Oh,
I'm just bored of it. I'm just bored of it at this point.
I think you could make the argument. Like let's compare this team to like a person with very brittle bones in their right leg, right? And it breaks every weekend. Uh, and the only way that's ever going to change is if that leg gets cut off and you replace it with a new leg entirely. So, like, that's potentially the Sens need to put their leg on a train track, and wait for something to come over it. Like the worst possible thing can happen so that, the leg can be replaced. The leg is DJ Smith. But yeah, that's with the way it's been so, according to you, because I've only watched 4 games, but it has been pretty consistent from what I've seen and very consistent from what you've told me. It's been this bad for a really long time, and it's not going to get fixed until it gets even worse. So I do not think you're wrong for rooting against this team. If you really love them, stick that leg in a blender.
It's one of those things, right, where like I think it's safe to say that if things continue the way it is, then there's going to be excuses for no changes to be made. If the team gets absolutely embarrassed, maybe there's more of a chance of changes being made. Like I'm not ready to I think I at this point I'm ready to write off playoffs. I'm not ready to write off this season as as nothing. Like, I still think that this team is capable of entertaining hockey, and I want to see it. Um, it's just a shame that if there is a change to be made, it will have come far too late. And there's, you know, had the change been made when DJ Smith said we wanted to be 500 or better at the end of October, and we did that when they were 500, like, no, that's already a
Like
failure.
that's the bare minimum.
Yeah. So no, if there had been a coaching change, like a month and a half ago, I mean, who's to say? Maybe despite the fact that this team should be really good on paper, maybe they're just bad. But I do think that a lot of the players haven't been playing up to their potential. But a lot of that has to do with the system, and I'd be way more inclined to get rid of the coach who has never had a winning point percentage rather than shipping off all the players on this team that are supposed to be extremely talented and who should be putting up much better results than they are. So at this point, I mean, listen, like this team like through everything this season, this team sucks. That is objectively true. This team sucks right now. I'm not saying that there aren't fixes. Like, I'm not saying that there isn't a way to fix this. I do think it's too late for playoffs, like I said, but it's not like this team is unfixable. And I don't necessarily know what will fix them, but I know changing the coach won't hurt.
You know what won't fix them? We were talking about this before in the game. If the Sens magically got some kind of blackmail on the Oilers management and traded Travis Hamonic for Connor McDavid, this team would still not go to playoffs. And I think that says a lot about the state of the franchise.
I mean, if Connor McDavid was on the Sens, maybe they'd have the puck a bit more often, and then the goalies wouldn't have to worry about the
McDavid
defense.
would have the puck more often.
Yeah,
You
but
wouldn't.
it's still
Sens
an issue of I like listen. We gave Forsberg shit for 2 like inexcusable goals he allowed this game. But the general theme for this team has been that the goalies get no help, and I definitely think Korpisalo has been more of a victim in that regard than Forsberg. But so
it's
part
hard
of
to
me
put
is like,
it all on a goalie.
Yeah, like part of me is like, you need to get a save to win a game, but then it's also like, well, the goalie's getting no help. But you look at on paper, I mean, even without Jabot on the team, like Chychrun, Sanderson, Zub, Brandstrom, like this team, like the team is good. On the defense on this team on paper is good. It's good. So why are there all these defensive breakdowns? Because no one knows who they're covering. No one knows. Yeah, no one knows who. Like, so I mean, we're just gonna keep doing this back and forth. And like, I do this every show. I'm sick of dump and chase. I'm sick of nobody knowing where they're supposed to be in the defensive end. Like, listen. If DJ Smith, I said this. Oh my god, what episode was I on? What episode was Let me look at the Sens schedule and figure out how long ago this was. Because there was an episode where I came on the show and I said, if DJ Smith is still the coach by the next game, then Andlauer and Staios aren't serious about this season.
I watched that one. You were so upset.
Do you remember what game that was?
You. That was like, oh no, I don't actually. I was going to say that's like 4 games ago, but
who did they lose
to? I don't think it actually was.
Was that the Panthers game?
It might have been. I just remember seeing you so upset and feeling terrible for you.
I think it was the Panthers game. I think it was.
I did DM the group chat and I was just like, you should stop watching hockey, man. This is not good for you.
I think it was a Panthers game on November 27th. I believe that's the game. So it's been damn near 3 weeks. and nothing has changed. And so near like 2.5 weeks ago, I said if DJ Smith is still the coach next game, then ownership and management just don't give a shit and they aren't serious about this season. And like at this point, we can safely say that is the case.
I
So
think a part of it is, as a new owner of the team, you don't want to look like you're shaking the bucket too hard right off the bat, because you only owned the team for 3 months. But at the same time, when there's a leak in the boat, how long do you take before you go, maybe we should plug that? Like 3 months may be too short, but like 6 months is too long. This
I
isn't
don't know,
something that
man.
should, like, someone asked like how long it will take to fire DJ Smith. DJ Smith is not the coach next season.
Right.
I would
That's a
put
safe bet.
money on that, but he is going to be the coach until the end of this season.
Yeah, like
Like,
if he wasn't fired 3 weeks ago, like yeah, that's the thing. Like, if he wasn't fired 3 weeks ago, he wasn't going to be fired. So if he still isn't fired at this point, like, there's just no way he isn't sticking out the rest of the season. And yeah, like here's from sarcastic remarks in the chat. Y'all have a good team. I think you'll need Woodcroft. He'd be a good fit for the Sens. And granted, and for Woodcroft, he was fired as coach of the Oilers, and it wasn't his fault. Like, it wasn't. He was
no.
fired from the Oilers, and I believe the stat. I don't remember like this, but it was like out of any coaches with X amount of games coached, whatever. Um, I'm pretty sure he was like. I'm pretty sure he was like number one in points percentage for Oilers coaches all times. It was something like that. Like, it was just this brutal start to the season the Oilers had. And it says here, yeah, we're honestly surprised the Sens are as bad as they are with Giroux, Stützle, Batherson, Norris, Sanderson, Shabbat, and Sutter. Like, seriously, this team should not be as bad as they've been. And you're absolutely right. And I'm on this show every other night because luckily for me, I have a co-host, so I don't have to do them all. I don't have to do them all, and that's great. I'm here every other night just fucking whining about exactly that every time.
I
Every
think if
time.
they like fix their schedule, you'd it'd be good for you on a mental health level, because it's like it's
Um
too much all at once.
I did 4 games all of November. Uh
Oof.
on December 9th, I did my 4th game of December. The
Okay.
schedule's broken.
Yeah. Well, it was because that they went over and played in Sweden, right?
Well, they claim that's why, but by the time the Sens had played again after Sweden, the Sens had played 17 games. The other 3 teams that had been in Sweden had played 21 and 22.
Yeah. Like there's something
I
going
don't I
on
don't
there.
know what the
Someone dropped the
scheduling
ball.
was. It was so fucked. It was so weird.
Can
Um
can I talk about the Sweden game for like 1 second?
yeah.
I'm going to take at least 100. I am so pissed off that the NHL was like, I've talked about the
Oh, you're
international
yeah, I know. Okay,
series
I know where this is. Yeah, go for it. Go for
on
it.
the stream before. They're like, Australia, a brand new hockey market. Let's send them our 2 best teams, the Arizona Coyotes and the LA Kings. And granted, they're both on a bit of a wagon this season, but they didn't know that. That's in spite of that.
Sure.
And I complain to you constantly, like, why couldn't have they sent us good teams? Uh, and look, and I think that the reason was like, well, not how many teams are going to agree to go overseas? Like they kind of got who they could, and then the international games in Sweden turns around. Oh, the Senators, the Maple Leafs. Who was the other 2 teams?
Detroit and
The
Minnesota.
Detroit and the Wild. Yeah. So 2 original 6 teams. The Sens, who I personally, like, you might be annoyed that the Sens are getting sent over if you're Swedish, but I like the Sens. So I like, and the Maple Leafs, one of their most successful like media teams, not playoff teams, but like 3 very, very good teams, 4 in total. and we get two of the bottom dwellers. Like, I made the joke that them doing that sending us the Kings and the Coyotes was disrespectful. I was having a laugh, but after they sent Sweden, the Leafs, the Wild, the Wings, and the Sens, that was disrespectful. They were having a go. I'm so mad. I could have seen the fucking Leafs play.
I
My
mean,
god, I'm sounding like Steve Dangle right now.
as it currently stands, uh, Australia got. I mean, the Kings are a playoff team, and the Coyotes are 1 point out of the playoffs.
Yeah, but we didn't know that at the
Yeah.
time. It was disrespectful.
And then Sweden got the last place in the East Sens, and the well, actually, they're not actually the God. I hate the Western Conference. The Wild, the Wild have 11 wins in 27 games. They are 3 points out of the playoffs.
Sorry, David W has pointed out all four teams have Swedish-born players under contract to them. That's no excuse to send the Coyotes. The Kings have Jordan Spence. He's not Australian. Like, he lived there for 2 years. He said his first words in Japan. Like, he's a Japanese player. He's a Japanese Canadian player. He's not Australian. They could have sent the Blues, who had an Aussie. They could have sent the Capitals, who drafted an Aussie. Like, there's so many teams that have Swedish players on them. The Swedes are a bit of a wagon at hockey, let's be honest. They sent the Leafs. When you send the Leafs, you know what countries they actually care about. Sorry for yelling at you, David. That's not fair. It wasn't your fault. You've got a really nice haircut.
It's very funny though for you to suggest that the NHL likes the Canadian team. Oh, they like the Leafs and the Habs because they make a shitload of money. I can't tell you how excited Gary Bettman is that the draft is not in Canada this year. I mean, listen, the draft being at the Sphere in Vegas is cool. The last in-person draft being in not the last in-person draft. What am I talking about? The build-up to the draft being in Montreal. Bettman wasn't happy about that.
Was I remember. Did we watch the draft together, or I think we were on a call but watching it separately?
We watched a few together.
Yeah, it was boring. Montreal didn't make a big show out of it.
It's tough to make a big show out of the draft, to be fair.
I mean, you say that now, but next year you'll be looking at the draft in Vegas and being like,
yeah,
okay, so they can do it. They can make it exciting.
Yeah.
Who was the Shane Wright draft? That was exciting.
Oh yeah, just because those picks were so wild. Like the order
that was
of those
crazy.
Picks. Yeah. I enjoy it's the Shane
that.
Wright draft. The guy who goes 4th overall. It was the Shane Wright draft.
Yeah, right. Like, who was even the first round draft pick that year? I can't even remember.
I'm already blanking. What year was that? What year was Shane Wright? Was that 2022? I'm sorry. It's midnight for me. I got up at 5. I got up at 5. 2020. I got up at 5:45 this morning. I'm struggling. What year was that? 2021. So it would have been Owen Power.
Was he the first round draft pick?
He was first overall. Yeah.
Okay, and that's definitely the Shane Wright year.
I don't know. You said it. Let me look it up, and then we'll wrap it up after that.
I need to check my
feel like it's 22
because I think I have him.
It is 22, yeah. So Slavkovsky went first, and then Simon Nemec to New Jersey, Logan Cooley to Arizona, Shane Wright to Seattle.
Yeah, I have Owen Power on my fantasy league team. If you're on my fantasy league team, you're not a first round pick. My team is terrible this year.
Oh, that's embarrassing. So sorry to everyone who made it this far in and watched us embarrass ourselves by not knowing what year someone was drafted.
Can I tell everyone how bad I am at fantasy?
Sure. Yeah,
Because
man.
you have 133 points, and you're at sixth position. I have 89 points, and I'm in 12th. And it's because I drafted a lot of capitals.
Well, listen, sometimes you gotta draft. Listen, Kaya, who is a host for Game Over Vancouver, um, because we have an SDPN, we have an SDPN league, and like specifically mostly like Game Over hosts, and we all thought Kaya was just having fun drafting Canucks super early. No, it was a great idea.
Yeah, that who would have seen it coming?
No, like, dude, Thatcher Demko as a second round pick. We were like, what is she doing? And then it just ended up being amazing.
What do you
So,
think about Curtis Joseph says Austin Matthew wants to have a game in Mexico.
why
How
not?
how do you think that if they can do it in Australia, they can do it in Mexico?
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
What teams would you like to see play in Mexico?
I mean, it'd be the Leafs. Um, because I believe Austin Matthews' mom is um is Mexican. So I think by like I think he's just like gets um like Mexican citizenship just like from birth. So definitely the Leafs. Um, I don't know if you're who would you send to Mexico with the Leafs for a big game like that?
The fucking Coyotes.
I mean, I guess you know what?
No,
I hate to say it, it makes sense.
who would I actually send?
You probably would want to make it like a
Oh,
southern team that like the Mexican fan base could like kind of take on as their own.
I mean that might have been a better answer than I was hoping for, but
No,
like
I think it
I don't
was the
know.
right answer, to be honest with you. I think it was.
All right, I'll keep it. Yotes versus the Leafs. Oh, my second choice maybe Bruins for no particular reason except for the Leafs and the Bruins have an incredible rivalry. But there is the potential that some people fly down from Canada and take away seats from potential New Mexican fans. I mean, they didn't run that risk in Australia. No one was going like, "Oh, let's have a 2 day flight down to Oz to go see
Yeah.
the Maple Leafs play someone."
Well, this I think we gotta call it because I don't want to talk about this game anymore. And that's like a really bad cop out answer because we haven't talked about the game in a good half hour, but I'm still going to use it as an excuse to call it a night. So, thank you everyone who's tuned in for watching. We really appreciate it. Thanks Sam for coming back on the show, and everyone who is a big Sam fan. Going to be seeing him at least a couple more times this season for the Sens Capitals games.
Woo! That
And
landed on my microphone.
oh, perfect.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I just needed to prove I actually had hair.
it's good stuff. It's good.
So I have such a big forehead. If I wear a cap, it looks like I'm bald.
Well, that's a fun little. No one's get to see. No one who's listening to just the audio got to see you ruffle up your hair like that. So that's a shame for them.
Well, what's left of it. Also, for audio listeners, I have the forehead the size of a bowling ball. It's very smooth, and it's got three little holes in the middle where you can grab me and throw me down a polished surface.
On that note, we're gonna call it a night. So thank you again, everyone, for tuning in. If you haven't, please like the stream, subscribe to SDPN. We're closing in on 100,000. Very exciting stuff.
Hmm.
And yeah, go Sens go, and God, that's brutal. You know what? I should probably tee up the next episode. Next episode is going to be on Sunday night. It's going to be both myself and Maud on the show. Our first show together since... God, it's been a while.
That's
November
exciting.
16th. Over a month since the last time we were both on the show. So it'll be great to have the two of us back on again. And it's going to be a game against Vegas. So
How's
I'll
that
just
gonna
say,
go?
yeah, I'll just say ahead of time, Sens lose 5-2 Vegas. Let's see if that holds up. Let's see if that holds
You
up.
might be right. Can I suggest a new chant instead of "Go Sens Go"?
Sure.
Leave, DJ, leave. Get that going at games.
You're gonna really upset the Sens in-house DJ at their games now.
Yeah, like, but who doesn't like Animals by Nickelback?
All right, we're actually on the show now. Thank you everyone for tuning in again. Yeah, this team sucks. So thanks for tuning in despite that, and we'll see you next time.